Siyaqala ingqayizivele yohlelo lwakho ekhaya Jikelele sifike qathatha siphethe umgodlo ogcwele phama uyanyitheka sikuphathele inketho zaseZimbabwe ingqungquthela iBRICS kanye njeke nezithinta amabhokobhoko ezemidlalo zikhona phela nesimo sezulu ngesishiye ngaphandle. Hayi ke mbukeli ezilight zanamhlanje kuseni ngizogela bebuzana ukuthi wakudelela wathi umfana ngesikhathi kumisa endleleni wena ungafuni ukuma. Omunye ke waphendula wathi hey umfana vele wathi hamba nekhanda limiso kweBright stand. Hayi webafana cha anizwile le ngakithi kodwa olundi asekho nje amantombazana embukweni ngixoxela indaba osathi nje mawaphelezela ukhulume wedwa uzujike ingazange nje intombi ithivu makhona nawe bakhona bakudelelayo
hayi lutho
basha ngomzimba
hayi mna tu happy Tuesday
to you too.
Who are you choosing today?
I am choosing you for a change.
I'm choosing myself. You are on your own. Ligatsho ke mbukele lokhwitho selusazi ukuba kumele bezindlebe ungaphoswa nto. Kaloku bathi walala wasala wavuka waqhamla. Kalentsasa ke yangolwesibini choose a day. Indaba ke zibethwa ngenduku kusukela kwesematheni kwezopolitiko ezemidlalo imo yezulu ndibala ntoni na. Ake sekunjalo ke sinicholacholela siniphandela kaloku indaba ngobunjalo bazo kwaye oko sikwenza singena mikhinqi njengokuba soloko ke sizama uqinisekisa ukuba siyavundlisa isizwe iyo lonto ke uzawusifa sisithi vuka sizwe timle ke unonkanyezi kalubizi inkanyezi ke ebrighting and afright ebhanyabhanya ebhidu mtyholi masizichaye ziqhuma ezanamhlanje.
Iyaqala namhlanje ingqungquthela ye-15 esingathwa amazwe angaphansi kwenhlangano iBRICS. Le ngqungquthela mbukeli ibanjelwe eGoli.
iZimbabwe kulindeleke kuba ibambe unyulo jikelele namhlanje abaqatso abalela isikhundla sobumongameli kodwa olona khuphiswano luphakathi lobambeleyo uEmerson Mnangagwa kunye nomqatso phambili weqela eliphikisayo uNelson Chamisa.
Dumelang bagaetsho ko gae nna ke nna Dr. Leborang Masekela ke nna Mrs. South Africa finalist ya 2023 so ke gopela le lebelleng Ekhaya Jikelele. You can catch us ka 6 o'clock from 6 to 9 every day Monday to Friday and then more babulela ka ditaba babulela ka di trends tse leng gore le di follower ke a tseba le di follower di sports whatever ye o nyakang go lebelela ke gopela o tune in ke a leboga.
Lishone elizolo esethelekile kuleli umengameli wezwe laseBrazil uLula da Silva njengoba abahola bahlukahlukene emhlabeni kulindeleke ukuthi bezokwethamela ingqungquthela iBRICS eqala khona namhlanje eSentini eGoli.
Umengameli uLula da Silva utheleke ekseni namhlanje esikhumulweni sezindiza iOR Tambo eGoli. Izwe laseBrazil ngelinye lamazwe okuqala ngqa ekusungulekeni kwenhlangano iBRICS kanti selineminyaka eminingi linobudlelwano obuhle neNingizimu Afrika. Womabili lamazwe anobuhlobo obude kanjalo nembono yawo ehambisanayo.
One of the issues that it's important is for BRICS to look into questions like the who knows a currency that would be serve the purpose of our countries as an alternative means.
ElaseNingizimu Afrika lizobe lifuna ukuzwa ukuthi uthini umbono wezwe laseBrazil maqondana namaphuzu aphathelene nezindaba zamazwe omhlaba.
A very important country, both in terms of being a regional power, but also a country that has rapidly modernized and grown its economy and diversified its economy. So there are lessons for South Africa to learn from Brazil, both in terms of the response to socio-economic challenges, but also ensuring broader growth in the country.
Umengameli wezwe laseChina Xi Jinping nokulindeleke ukuthi afike kusihlwa namuhla uzobonana nezikhulu zikahulumeni ngaphambi kokuthi ahlanganyele nabanye abaholi bamazwe eBRICS engqungqutheleni eqala kusasa. Undunankulu wezwe lase-India uNarendra Modi yena kulindeleke ukuthi atheleke kusasa ekuseni.
Kusenjalo umphathiso shishino nohwebo uEbrahim Patel uthi amazwe ayinxalenye yeBRICS kufuneka athathe inxaxheba ekwandiseni ukusetyenziswa kobuxhakaxhaka bale mihla nokuvelisa amandla ngendlela engangcolisi indalo.
Ungqongqoshe wezimboni uthi umkhakha wezokukhiqiza usebenzisa amandla ngaphezulu kwama-40 emhlabeni jikelele ubhekene nezinselelo. Kepha-ke asekhona amathuba okukhiqiza okungayilimazi imvelo.
Diversification of energy sources is important, and we'll continue to pursue the efficient use of fossil fuels and increase the share of renewable energy in our economies, including through biofuels, solar, wind, green hydrogen and hydro.
Umkhandlu weBRICS uthi kumqoka ukuthi umkhakha wezokukhiqiza uthuthukiswe ukuze ube nekusasa elibonakalayo emhlabeni jikelele.
By investing in green manufacturing, we can promote innovation. We can drive sustainable economic growth, all while preserving the environment and livelihoods.
Ukwentuleka kwezohwebo eningizimu Afrika kuthathwa njengethuba lokwengeza emikhiqizo ehlukene kanye nokuthuthukisa ukuhwebelana.
South Africa unfortunately maintains a deficit across all the 4 member states, or 5 with us, and that is something that it's been documented as a challenge, but we want to convert it into an opportunity.
Lo mkhandlu wezamabhizinisi uthi izwekazi Afrika linenqwaba yemithombo kanye nabantu abasha okufanele babambe iqhaza emnothweni.
Ungqongqoshe wamaphoyisa uJenene uBhekicele uthi bami ngomumo oqinisekisa ezokuphepha njengoba iqala nje namhlanje ingqungquthela yamazwe eBRICS esentini eGoli.
Amaphoyisa, amasosha kanye nabezimo eziphuthumayo sebekulungele uqapha isimo njengoba iqala kusasa ingqungquthela yamazwe omhlaba iBRICS. Ukhomishana wamaphoyisa kuzwelonke uthi kufanele eqinisekiswe ukuthi izivakashi ziphephile.
We have brought you all together here to come and make sure that the inhabitants of this area where we are and South Africa at large are safe. And as law enforcement, let's go out there and make sure that we protect everybody, locals, foreigners, everybody must feel at home.
Ungqongqoshe wamaphoyisa uBhekicele uthi bakulungele ukwenza umsebenzi ukuqinisekisa ukuphepha futhi bazosebenza ebusuku nemini. Uthi lena ingqungquthela enkulu yesibili ebanjelwe kuleli.
It's not the first time as South Africans that we have displayed the highest capabilities of hosting these kind of events. One event that everybody kept asking if we're capable to do was the World Cup.
Ucele uthi unethemba lokuthi le ngqungquthela izohamba ngendlela efanele futhi ibe nezithelo ezinhle. Eindabeni ze-SABC ngiuzinhle SABC eGoli.
Ibhanki yombuso ithi umsulo umongameli uCyril Ramaphosa emva kophando malunga nemali eyanikwa ifama yakhe iPhalaphala ngonyaka ka2020.
Umhlazi wezombusazwe uKhaya sithole uthi uphenyo oluthatha unyaka wonke aligqulisi neze. Usithole uthi istatement esikhishwe ibhange lombuso sixaka abantu abaningi.
The statement itself is quite surprising in the fact that it fails to appreciate the gravity of the public interest dimension in this matter. And what I mean there is that what we've seen is essentially the Reserve Bank publishing a press statement that says, look, we've conducted an investigation and we've decided that the details of the investigation must not be made public, but you guys must just find peace and comfort with this conclusion that says that nothing went wrong.
Ibhange lombuso lithi laqala ukuphenya esikhathini esingangonyaka. Kulesikhathi lathatha istatement esifungelwe ezingaphezulu kwe15 kubantu abathintekayo.
The outcome says that they have been found anything that the president have actually contravened with the exchange control regulations and stuff like that. And that, I think that would extend a good market sentiment, which would actually say it would drive that obviously there will be some stability in terms of what's happening in the domestic politics.
Ibhange lombuso lithi ngenxa yomthetho lombika ngekukhishwa emphakathini. Umphathi webhange lombuso uLisija Khanyago uthi uzochazela iParliament ngalombiko uma ibhange lombuso selixoxisana neParliament.
Namhlanje izwe iZimbabwe lizosingatha ukhetho lokuqoka umengameli omusha wakuleli yazwe kanti ke abasembangweni walesi sikhundla ngumengameli uEmmerson Mnangagwa kanye noNelson Chamisa. Banemizwa eyahlukeneke abantu ngalolu khetho ikakhulukazi labo abavela khona eZimbabwe. Abanye bathi angeke baze balibhade unyawo lwabo kuleli yazwe njengoba bethi ababona nje ukuthi kuzoba khona inguquko ezithinta ukubuswa kwezwe ngemva kwalolu khetho. Kodwa ke abantu abayingxenye abayinganxanye njengamanzi njengoba bekhona ke abanye abahambile babuyele ekhaya beyovota ngoba benenkolelo yokuthi izoguquka izinto ngemva kokhetho. Kanti ke nomphakathi uzokwazi ukuthi uhlinzekwe ngedingo. iSABC ke ijube intatheli yayo uKhayelihle Khumalo oyoxoshela lengqophamlando yokhetho kanti nathi lapho ohlelweni sihlela ukukhuluma naye ke enhlokodolobha yaseZimbabwe iHarare. Imeya yomasipala uMsinga enyakatho yesifundazwe iKwaZulu-Natal uFalenkosi Sikhakhane uthi bengumasipala bazama ngazo zonke indlela ukubhekana nezingqinamba ezibhekene nabantu okufaka phakathi ukulungisa ingqalasizinda yamanzi, izindlu kanye nogesi. Imeya ke yaseMsinga ibe isifisela umntwana wakwaPhindangeni ukwelulama njengoba idunguzela nje imbabazane. Ubesivashele ke lapha ekomkhulu leSABC.
Imeya yaseMsinga ithi kunenhlelo abanazo zokuhambela amawadi ukuze balungise inkinga yamanzi ekhungethe le ndawo.
Sinohlelo lwethu esilwenzayo lokuba sihambele amawadi wonke ngayodwa sinamawadi awu21. Sisuka ku1 sesiyogcina ku21 bekungenzeki nakanye bengakhulumi ngamanzi ukuthi ayinkinga endaweni yakithi eMsinga.
Yebo.
Ngakho ke sesizinikeza ithuba lokuba sikhulumisane ngoba phela amanzi akuyona ifunction ewumsebenzi wethu ezingeni le local government. Kodwa uthathwa idistrict.
uSikhakhane oyimeya yaseMsinga uthi abantu badonsa kanzima ekutheni bathola izindlu ngenxa yokuthi abantu abasebenzi kodwa kukhona imizamo abayenzayo njengomasipala.
Sifakile isicelo eminyangweni wa human settlement. Ngo-2014 safaka isicelo sokuthi ake sixhaswe esilekelelwe base besi-approve lesi sicelo. Base kuba nama project ke abawabalayo ngaye 10. Kodwa akwangabe endleleni kwasalela nje kwasalela endleleni kwase kuphumelela amabili indawana nje amawadi amabili iwona aphumelela ukuba aqalwe nawo futhi akakapheli lawa amabili.
Kunohlelo olubizwa ngokuthi isukuma sakhe okuhloswe ngalo ukuthi lixazulule lenkinga yezindlu ekhungethe abantu baseMsinga.
Isukuma sakhe uqhamuka ke kakhulukazi nomnyango wakwaCOGTA lapho uyaye ukhulume ngosukuma sakhe ukuthi akwakhiwe izinto ezithile nawo uyingxenye enkulu yokuselekelela kodwa nje kuselukhuni endaweni yakithi eMsinga endweni eziningi.
Le meya ebivakashela indlini zethu zokusakaza ithi sebehambe ibanga elide kwethinta ugesi.
Thina eMsinga bese sihamba indlela ende ngogesi. Bese ufakiwe emawadini amaningi kushoda ambalwa engingathembisa nje impela ukuthi ukuba akuyi ngoba kubuyelwe emuva kuyolungiswa emuva kusha ama transformer kusha yonke into futhi uma eseshile ama transformer akagijimi ngejubane ezikhulu Eskom ukuzolungisa lezo zinto.
Alisalanga ngaphandle uDouble thinta umkhosi omhlanga kwazise nakhona eMsinga kuneyintombi into ezizophuma ziye emkhosini womhlanga.
Senentombi zangempela lapha kithi eMsinga. Sikhona impela nje ziyaya zisukela ziqala ezigodini. Noma emhlathini nje egodi ziqale lapho zifundiswe ziqhubeke ziye esizweni senkosi nenkosi sukeke lapho futhi ke seziya ke manje emhlangeni nathi siba ingxenye silekelele nangamabhasi nakho konke ukuba zihanjiswe nokudla konke ziyokudla phambili selekelele kuphume nabasebenzi bakamasipala wethu bayobona ukuthi ngempela ziphephile yini intombi kanye nomama laba baphilezelayo engibathanda kakhulu ngoba bayabekezela akuna umsebenzi olula lo umsebenzi onzima ukugada intsha siyayazi phela nathi seke sayiyo.
Le meya ibisiqhuquzela abantu ukuthi balande amapasi yasho nokuthi basebenza ngokuyikhandla bewumasipala ukuthi abantu bakwazi ukuthi balande amapasi agcwele emnyangweni wabo wezasekhaya. NgiuCalvin wakwadludla umdidiyelo semkantshubovu ohlelo lwesidlo sasekuseni ekhaya Jikelele.
Mbukeli okwamanje ake siphosa amehlo ke sibone ukuthi kumi kanjani lapha kwisimo sezulu.
Enkosi ngokuhlala nathi nisasibukele apha ekhaya Jikelele kwinkumbondaba yakho uDTT. Yaqala ke namhlanje ingqongqothela yamaqela eBRICS eGauteng. Izakusengathwa ngumongameli woMzantsi Afrika uCyril Ramaphosa kwaye idibanise iinkokheli zamazwe eBRICS. Injongo ke eziphambili ziquka intsebenziswano yezoqoqosho, iziseko zophuhliso kunye nokujongana nemingeni yehlabathi. Ukuthetha banzi ke ngalomba sizawuqhagamshelana nonjingalwazi uNzwelinzima Ndevu ongumhlalutyi wezopolitiko. Prof masikubulise sikwamkele enkqubeni yethu ekhaya Jikelele sibambe ngazibini ngexesha lakho.
Ngiyabulisa ukubulisa nakuba phulaphuli benkqubo yakho.
Ifikile imini ibikade iqelwa sizawubona namhlanje pha eSenton Convention Center kusingathwa ingqongqothela yeBRICS. Ungathi mhlambe Prof ubaluleke kangakanani umfela ndawonye weBRICS kubume bomhlaba?
Ibaluleke kakhulu lento yeBRICS especially kunyaka apho sibona khona ba ayizuba ngamazwe mahlanu azawudibana kodwa akhona namanye angaphezu kwama-20 afuna uzibandakanya nale ndibano okanye nalo mfela ndawonye weBRICS. Ithi ke loo nto izawutshintsha ubume bezezimali elizweni lonke, so ibaluleke kakhulu. Ibaluleke nento bayenzeka apha eSouth Africa kuba sawuqonda into yoba i-economy yethu iyashokoxeka kunentswelangqesho enkulu nezinye nje izinto ezifuna sibe ne-economy ephakamileyo.
Ungathi Prof zeziphi mhlawumbe izivuno kunye nemingeni enokuthi ivele kwinjongo zentsebenziswano kwezoqoqosho zalombutho?
Eyona nto phambili ekhankanywa ngumuntu wonke endiqonda uba siyilinde ngamehlo abomvu sonke yinto yoba kuzawuphunywa ne-currency, laa nto sithi imali ezawusetyenziswa ushishino entsha ekuthiwa i-BRICS currency okanye into ezawuba bumo njalo. Loo nto ke wonke umntu uyijonge ngamehlo abomvu ukuva uba izawuba yintoni loo nto, izawusebenza njani kwaye izayitshintsha njani imeko yezoqoqosho elizweni. Kuba ngokuqinisekileyo uba khona i-currency entsha amazwe angaphezu kwamashumi amabini azawufunelana ngayo, izayitshintsha ubume bezoqoqosho elizweni.
Masingene ke ngoku kule meko etshisibunzi, ingaba imeko ye-ICC yona echaphazela iRussia ingaba nefuthe linjani kwiziphumo zale ngqungquthela?
Andiboni izawuba nefuthe elikhulu, nangona kukhona abadanileyo into yoba umongameli waseRussia uPutin akazukwazi uba khona apha bebuqu, uzawukhonektha nge-virtually, but ngaphandle kwaloo nto andiqondi uba izawuba khona ingxoxo engaphezu kwaloo nto ethetha ngeRussia nento yoba i-ICC kuthweni ngayo. Into yenziwe ibe ngamazwe ngokwawo individually ayijoyine yilaa convention yaseRome. Ayiyo nto nje ezawuthethwa qodi uba into eyawa phambili.
Siyaqonda into yokubana ngamazwe azaba yinxalenye yale ngqungquthela kwaye akhona namanye afake isicelo sokubana nabo bazibandakanye. Inokuba mhlambe zithini iimpendulo zamagunya asentshona kwisigqibo seBRICS esichasene nentshona?
Ndiyacinga uba abasemagunyeni entshona bazayijonga ngeliso lokhozi i-BRICS leza kwenzeka uqala namhlanje, bafune ukuqonda izigqibo zayo kuba sokhumbula into yoba amazwe afana no-Saudi Arabia nawo afuna ujoyina no-Iran nantoni, angamazwe atyebileyo ngee-minerals xa uthetha nge-oil, Saudi Arabia namanye njalo njalo. Ithi ke amazwe asentshona ayafuna nayo umbandakanyeka kwizigqibo ezinala mazwe phakathi. So ujonge ekhozi ekubomvu eve noba zintoni kanye izigqibo ngokurhwebelwana ezawuthathwa ziwabeke phi wona.
Ungathi mhlambe ukubandakanywa kwamazwe angamalungu amatsha kunokuba nefuthe linjani ekuthatheni kwezigqibo kwiqela leBRICS?
Kuzayitshintsha kakhulu, kuzawuba nofuthe loyithatha iBRICS liyibeke kumgangatho phezulu kakhulu. Sawukhumbula kwangoku amazwe afana noAmerica ngawona athatha izigqibo ezibalulekileyo ngokwezoshishino. Ibe iChina nayo ifuna ukuba kwilayisinga yeAmerica. Izawuthi loo nto xa amazwe abangaka iBRICS ibe yiyona dibaniselwano ebalulekileyo elizweni kwizigqibo nje generally.
Xa sijonga ke ngoku indima yayo iBRICS ekujongeni nemingeni yehlabathi ekwabelwana ngayo, umzekelo njengoko sikulo uguquguquko lwemozulu ne-cyber security.
Sawukhumbula into yoba ngoku la mazwe ubuninzi bawo awanandima inkulu ayidlalayo kwizigqibo ezithathayo zamazwe ngamazwe. Xa ujonga kwinto ye-climate change, uphinde ujonge kwinto ezinge-technology, cyber security nantoni nantoni oyibizayo. Kodwa izawuthi kuba le ndibaniselwano izawuba nkulu ngoku, izawutsho ibe namandla wokuthatha izigqibo ezibalulekileyo. Izawutshintsha loo nto, wonke umntu uzawujonga kuyo ukuva into yoba ithatha izigqibo zithini na ngento ye-climate change. Ze kuthi izawuba yona organization ezawudlala indima enkulu ujongana nento ezilohlo.
Uninzi lwabantu luye lwavakalisa udano ngenxa into yobana kaloku umnumzana uPutin engazukwazi into yokubana ayisingathele ingqungquthela kuba ke ezawuqhagamshela napha kumakhasi onxibelelwane. Ungakhe mhlambe usicacisele ngeziphumo zexesha elizayo ezinoba khona kwinzame ze-BRICS zokuchasana nolawulo lwasentshona njengoko uye wasixelela wasihlalutyela into yokubana singahle mhlambe sibone intoni kuloo nto.
Bantu abaninji badanile ngokuzwa ungakwazi ukuza kaPutin inyaniso leyo. Abanye abantu abaninji bajoke eSouth Africa into bakhange idlale indima befana bidlalile kwenza uMr Putin abe khona apha. Sawukhumbula into yoba uMr Putin ungabanye abantu bokuqala useka lo mbutho we-BRICS. Ithi ke loo nto ulilunga elibalulekileyo le-BRICS. Ukuya phambili iyona nto inobe yawushokoxwa ulungisa lo bakuphile kwenzeke into lohlobo ukuthi izigqibo ezithathwe ngamazwe azibandakanya ne-BRICS namazwe asentshona zawufuna ziphononongwe kujongwe zona zigqibo zingachaphazela ukusebenza nobume be-BRICS ukuya phambili kwenzela uba kuyenzeka into ezifana nale uba bekhona ilungu elingakwazi ukuza ngenxa yezivumelwano ezithathwe lilungu namazwe asentshona. Isibili into endicinga izawubaleka nayo izawutshintsha laa nto sithi economic base or economic order itshintshe nezopolitiko njengoba sazi ngoku. Amazwe asentshona engabi ngawaphambili kodwa amazwe ase-south laa nto sithi BRICS countries nalamanye amazwe ayijoyinayo ibe ngawo ke ngoku aphala phambili kwizigqibo ezawuthathwa ngoba kwenzeka ntoni elizweni jikelele. Loo nto ke yawuyitshintsha le nto sithi world order itshintshe i-geopolitics.
Xa ujongile Prof ungathi mhlawumbe zingasombululeka ingxaki zabemi balapha eMzantsi Afrika kuba kaloku abanye ke banethemba lokubana mhlawumbe emva kwale ngqungquthela bayatsho into yokubana mhlawumbe nepetrol amaxabiso epetrol angehla sentsho amathemba aphezulu and umntu uyazibuza into yokubana yintoni yena njengomnini walapha eMzantsi Afrika azawuthi ayixhamle kule ngqungquthela.
Ngaphandle kwamathandabuzo msasazi amathuba uba sixhamle silizwe lase-South Africa nabantu ekuhlaleni makhulu kuba sawukhumbula uba la mazwe afuna uzibandakanya ne-BRICS azawutsho arhwebelane ne-South Africa ngokwezivumelwano ezizawuthathwa ezizawukwenza into yoba ezinye zezinto esizithenga kula mazwe sizithenga ixabiso elisezantsi kuba ukuzibandakanya kwethu nezo zivumelwano. Ithi ke loo nto umlisela nomthinjana unalo ithuba loba iSouth Africa uqoqosho lwayo linyuke lithi unyuka liveza amathuba emisebenzi nezinto esizithengayo amaxabiso wazo afikeleleke. So likhona lo themba.
Prof masibambe ngazibini ngexesha lakho ndiyathemba into yokubana nababukeli bethu kulugcobo novuyo kubo into yokubana ubaxhamlele olulwazi.
Enkosi kakhulu ngiyabulisa.
Sibambe ngazibini lo ke mbukeli besithetha naye nguye unjingalwazi uZwelinzima Ndevu nobesinabisela banzi ngomba wengqungquthela ye-BRICS eqala namhlanje pha eSandton Convention Center. Phakathi kwezinto ke athe wazibalula uyatsho into yokubana mininzi imingeni esingathi ke uMzantsi Afrika ujongene nazo. Enye yazo kaloku yintswelangqesho nenye siyibonayo ibana ihamba phambili yokuqhoxeka koqoqosho. Uyatsho ke into yokubana intsebenziswano phakathi kwalamazwe izawenza kaloku into yokubana kuphucuke ezoqoqosho kwaye ke kube khona nabantu abazawuqashwa emisebenzini norhwebo phakathi kwalamazwe kuzowenza into yokubana amaxabiso xa mhlambe wena mbukeli uzawukwazi into yokubana uthenge phesheya kwamalwandle uthenge ngexabiso elifikelelayo. Ingaba wena mbukeli lithini uluvo lwakho? Ingaba mhlambe ubona nawe ungumbukeli uzawuxhamla kule ngqungquthela? Qiniseka kaloku mbukeli into yokubana uyanxibela nathi kumakhasi onxibelelwano. Kanti ke ngoku masithi qhwi pha evenkileni qiniseka awugqushalazi ubukele iEkhaya Jikelele.
Sukwamkele mbukeli ekhaya Jikelele kanti ke njengamanje ke singene eindabeni zezemidlalo.
Izindaba Khoza Foundation iqhuquzelela imisithi yezemidlalo eSoweto ukubhiyozela inyanga yamanina. Amakhwenkwe ke namantombazana abekwe ngokwamaqela awo ngokweminyaka awo athatha inxaxheba kumdlalo webhola ekhatywayo wesikolo kunye nebhola yomnyazi.
Bekumchuthe manikiniki eSoweto kukuhle kutselile kunjeya ingani bekubungathwa lilanga ekudalwa kwaZodwa Khoza. Inhlangano yeZodwa Khoza Foundation ihlanganise abantwana besikolo kumidlalo iSchools League Finals lebe idlalelwa eJabulani naseMulitsane khona eSoweto. Babonisile ke ukuthi bayati kanganani imidlalo leyahlukene njengoba bekunelibhola letinyawo kanjalo neletandla iNetball. Tebuhumlo yilo sihlanganisa phambilini ku-Orlando Pirates ukhulume kabanti ngaZodwa Khoza lo sewalenvulela la kuleli.
This tournament really says a lot about it, and it's great that the legacy still lives on. You can see with the tournament, it's an opportunity for these young boys to showcase their talent. We're not only developing football players, but we're also developing responsible future citizens of the country, which is something that she was very, very strong in, the development of players. As you remember that during a time, we had a gift and Cheese Boy Mukwena, Joseph Makanya, Tso Vilagazi, all coming from our development and an initiative that she used to support a lot.
Namhlanje ngizokusizele ilanga likaZodwa uZodwa Khoza simcelebrate just because birthday yakhe and simcelebrate ngento kade ayithanda kakhulu isoka.
Inhlangano iZodwa Khoza Foundation ithi ifuna ukuthi imicuthelwane lefana lena ichubeke njalo.
In remembrance and honor of Mrs. Zodwa, a very, very, very courageous, strong, rejuvenating, high life, a woman who was passionate about soccer, who did so much for the community, uplifting abantwana abancane through soccer. So today marks a very important day.
Every year on this month, on this day, we celebrate the mother of soccer to us. To us, Ms. Zodwa Khoza was the mother of soccer. People in the Val, people in Sebokeng, people in Chavi know her very well for her tireless efforts in order to bring soccer to the young ones and soccer to even all the lovers of soccer.
Imicuselwano lemihle lefana neSchools League kuhlelwa ukuthi ibe khona njalo kukhunjulwe ngayo Zodwa Khoza njalo ke nangabe kuyinyanga yalabasikati kuleli. Mina ke ngingumdudu Izindlovu. Let tindzaba te-SABC ngisejabulani kuseSoweto ke lapho.
Uqale ngezimpi eziyisithupha umqhudelwano wesibhakela sabesifazane iWomen in Boxing Series 1 eThekwini. uMapule Ngubane ovikela isicoco unqobe uRashada Malik isigaba ke sokuqala salomqhudelwano sosuka manje siye kwezinye izifundazwe.
Umqhudelwano wesibhakela wabesimame uqale ngokusemthethweni esifundazweni KwaZulu-Natal. Abagqugquzeli balomcimbi bawubona uzothuthukisa besifazane kulomkhakha.
And sifisa ukuthi bonke kuphela lonyaka 2023-2024 belitholile ithuba lokuthi bangene eringini. Sifisa ukusebenzisa leli thuba lama series ukuqhubeka nokunxenxa osomabhizinisi abaningi ukuthi babangene kwiboxing besupport abantu besifazane.
Sinenkinga yama sponsors okungelula ukuthi siwathole. Abantu abaningi bake basibuke njengabantu abancane futhi mhlawumbe abangeke bakwazi ukwenza izinto njengabantu besilisa.
Obevikela isicoco sakhe okwesibili uMapule Ngubane ubese eqhuquzela intsha esifazane ukuba nayo ingenele lo mdlalo wesibhakela.
Iyasiza kakhulu isikhiphe emgaqweni sikwazi ukubeka izinto etafuleni. Yize nje sometimes singawathola amathuba siwathola ngoAugust isikhathini esiningi eWomen's Month. Besingathanda kakhulu ukuthi ama promoter asifake nathi sikwazi ukuthi si represent South Africa.
Umqhudelwano ke uzobanjwa kuzo zonke izifundazwe.
Enkosi ngokuhlala nathi nisasibukele kaloku apha ekhaya jikelele kwinkqubo ndaba yakho ephala phambili uDTT. Ngomhla 23 kweyeThupha izigidi ezithandathu zabavoti baseZimbabwe ababhalisele ukuvota baza kuya kuvoto ukukhetha umongameli welizwe. Ngelixa ke kujongwe kakhulu ukhuphiswano oluphezulu lomongameli, abavoti nabo baya kuvotela abameli bakarhulumente epalamente. Ukuva banzi ke ngolunyulo lwaseZimbabwe sawuqhagamshelana nentatheli yendaba ze-SABC eseZimbabwe uKhayelihle Khumalo. Kwaye ke mbukeli singathanda into yokubana simlumkise into yokuba oludliwano ndlebe luzawuqhutywa ngolwimi lwesiNgesi. Good morning Khayelihle and welcome to Ekhaya Jikelele.
Well, a very good morning to you and thank you so much for having me.
Khayelihle, since your arrival in Zimbabwe, have you had the chance to assess the situation to check if maybe it's conducive for journalists to work freely?
Well, that's right. I mean, we've had an opportunity to really crisscross, especially in Harare, the capital city in Zimbabwe. So there's a great deal of interest ahead of tomorrow. A lot of people are looking forward to exercising their democratic rights. But as you know, that some of the most dominant issues will be around the issues pertaining to the revival of this economy. As you know, that Zimbabwe has been facing quite a number of challenges when it comes to issues around hyperinflation. In fact, it's one of the highest in the world. So the political parties really had an opportunity to engage with the electorate. Like you rightfully said, about 6.6 million Zimbabweans are eligible to vote, and we do know that obviously there'll be quite a lot of focus around the young voters, because more often than not they are always seen as a very key players. But also it's been a very interesting time here in Zimbabwe leading up to the elections, but also one of the very main worries will have to be the concerns around violence. There has been a very clear message from the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission to try and avoid post-election violence, with the Commission really emphasizing to all political players to make sure that they act responsibly in the pre-election phase, during the election and also post-election.
I think it's safe to say that it's been relatively peaceful on the run-up, and I mean we know that looking at the history of the Zimbabwean elections, it's been quite tense, and I mean the electoral violence has really risen. What is the mood of the people in Zimbabwe since tomorrow they will be casting their votes? Is it calm? Is it peaceful?
It's relatively calm here in Zimbabwe, and obviously, I mean, there were like few incidents that were reported prior to these elections where there were some killings, where some opposition members, they were suspecting certain individuals from the governing party. But obviously, those claims are really still under investigation by the law enforcement agencies. But so far, what we do understand as well is that there has been a declaration for tomorrow to be a public holiday, to make sure that people are able to go out and vote. But also you have quite a number of interesting people as well, the election observers. You do have the likes of the SADC region observer mission, and also you do have the African Union observer mission as well. So by all accounts it's been very peaceful in Zimbabwe. But I think one of the major challenges that has been facing the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission will have to be the issue around the accreditation. Obviously, I mean, given the very massive interest in these elections, but there has been an assurance from the Information Ministry that they are attending to these issues. So tomorrow is going to be a very big day here in Zimbabwe.
Indeed, and we understand that, I mean, the interest is to get young people to vote. So when comparing previous election to these ones, do you think they will be something different in terms of being fair and free?
Well, there has been quite a lot of assurances from the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission that they've always been transparent, they've always been impartial, so they will continue with that particular mantra. And something also that has been very interesting is that from a number of political parties, really, they've been speaking about a number of issues, the chronic challenges facing Zimbabwe, but also really just encouraging the voters to go and vote. But also there are quite a number of rules that must be adhered to by all the people who are really just taking part in these elections. So, for example, you do have the incumbent president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, talking about the issue of continuity, saying this is his last term. He wants to continue with the issue of fixing the Zimbabwean economy. But also on the other side of the coin, you do have the Triple C leader, Nelson Chamisa, who's saying it's about time that Zimbabwe does see change, because it's been facing a myriad of issues and there hasn't been really any particular change in as far as ZANU-PF is concerned. So, and also you do have other political leaders who are taking part in these elections. You have about 11 presidential candidates, albeit a relatively small number in comparison to 2018, because in 2018 you had about 23 candidates, but that number has been brought down by the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission because of the very quite a rigorous process through the nomination court, but also in terms of the fees. I think the candidates, they really had to fork out about $20,000, so that's quite a very massive amount of cash.
And looking at the state of readiness, what about the country readiness to hold the general election? I understand that you did mention that, everyone is in place to ensure that accreditation runs smoothly. Have preparations run smoothly this far?
Well, very much so, and really depends where you go, because where we are right here in the urban areas, as much as it's always seen as a stronghold of the opposition parties, but you also do have quite a very fairly massive support for the ZANU-PF. So, the fever is very palpable for Zimbabwe to go to the elections, and the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission has really insisted that from their perspective, they are ready to make sure that these elections are fairly smooth. But also something that is really interesting is that you have quite a number of observer missions, even from those countries that have imposed sanctions on Zimbabwe, because also that's a big issue in Zimbabwe, the issue of the sanctions, at least from the perspective of the ZANU-PF. They have been talking about the issue that the sanctions really remain a big factor in terms of not seeing much progress in terms of their ideas in fixing the economy.
In closing, Jikelele, what can we expect from tomorrow's elections?
So by all accounts, it's going to be a very fascinating day. We do understand that the polling stations will open exactly at 7 a.m. But I heard from the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission that there might be exceptions in those polling stations where they do not open in time, in terms of making sure that they try and accommodate as many voters as possible. So everyone here is waiting with bated breath for tomorrow. It's going to be a moment of truth. And also there has been a lot of campaigning. From today, the political parties won't be campaigning because now the campaigning season has officially been called off. But there'll be quite a lot of engagements on the sidelines as everybody waits for tomorrow.
It is indeed the moment of truth, Jikelele. Do you see the participants accepting the outcomes of the elections?
I think that has been a very main message by the electoral body here in Zimbabwe for all political players to make sure that they adhere to the regulations, but also do accept the true reflection of the will of the people of Zimbabwe. So that has been a main issue, because in previous elections, that has always been a trigger for violence. That has always been a major concern. You go back to 2018, where also one of the major issues was the premature declaration of the results. So this time around, I think there has been a very clear message that the electoral body is a designated structure in terms of the announcement of the results. But also something quite interesting here is that if there is no outright winner, we do know that on the 2nd of October there might be a runoff, but if there is no outright winner. So an outright winner in Zimbabwe requires about 50% to be able to garner those votes and be able to be elected into the office. But these are very interesting elections as well, because apart from the presidential element, but also for the parliamentary seats as well, but also for the local authorities as well.
Jikelele, thank you so much for your time. Right, mbukeli wami lo ke besincokola naye nguye kaloku uJikelele Khumalo, intatheli yendaba zalapha eSABC. Uyaqonda ikhumule kaloku into yokubana mbukeli ngomso kweyethupha izigidi ezithandathu zizakube kaloku zisingise phazi yovota pha eZimbabwe. Uyasixelela ke uJikelele into yokubana noko isimo sithe ukuba calm kwelalizwe, njengoko sazi kaloku mbukeli into yokubana imbali yaseZimbabwe xa sibona kaloku kulapho kuvotwa siyabona into yokubana zithi gqolo ukuxhaphaka iziganeko zobundlobongela, kodwa uyasiqinisekisa mbukeli into yokubana noko imeko izinzile. Utshilo mbukeli wathi into yokubana balindwe ngabovu abantu abatsha into yokubana nabo babeke uvoto lwabo kwelalizwe. Esitsho mbukeli into yokubana phakathi kwemicelimngeni angathi bajamelene nalo belilizwe ngumba we-accreditation, iziqinisekiso, kodwa esitsho mbukeli into yokubana abasemagunyeni kulandawo bayichophele ezithendeni. Qiniseka ke mbukeli uthe gqolo ujonge iziko lakho losasazo iSABC, sawuthi gqolo kaloku mbukeli sikuxhobisa ngako konke okwenzekayo kunyulo lwaseZimbabwe. Kanti ngoku masithi qhwi evenkileni, qiniseka uyindawo ubukele iEkhaya Jikelele.